Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 playing the beta in this week's episode of Dear Nero, which of course is the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me in fan mail and or fan questions, and I do my best to go ahead and answer them. The beta is over, sadly. The beta's over, that's so sad, but I recorded so much footage of the beta and put so many days of playtime in the beta that I feel so I have enough footage to kind of last me all the way until November. Now, there's probably going to be some repeat gameplays now and again because it's kind of hard to keep track of that stuff, but I do have a ton of footage of Black Ops 3 to the point where my hard drives are kind of getting pretty full. But hopefully you guys will enjoy the Black Ops 3 beta footage here in this video. Hopefully you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy that while we go over this week's questions for this week's Q&A. Dear Nero, one of my favorite videos to make every single week. The first question is going to kind of pertain to Black Ops 3 a little bit. He is going to write, Dear Nero, do you think that the long-lasting flame of Black Ops 2 will finally start to dim after the release of Black Ops 3, or do you think that it will continue to have over 100,000 people playing it? Keep up the good work, Draconian. So, Draconian, I think Black Ops 2, and this is just my guess to this, right? I think Black Ops 2's numbers are definitely going to dwindle after the release of Black Ops 3, because I feel as though the majority of people that are playing Black Ops 2, they're playing it because they enjoy that style of game, and I feel as though Black Ops 3 is going to be pretty similar to Black Ops 2. After, again, putting an extensive amount of playtime into the beta for Black Ops 3, it does feel a lot like Black Ops 2, but of course, a lot different at the same time, right? I think the reason why there's so many people back there playing Black Ops 2 is there's a thriving competitive scene. People love to play League play in that game, but at the same time, they also just love the maps, they love the guns, they love the score streaks, they love how that game is laid out as compared to some of the newer games. Like, you look at Call of Duty Ghosts, there could be a variety of reasons as to why somebody may not like Call of Duty Ghosts, right? Because it was definitely one of the least played Call of Duty games like ever. It's insane. Like, the player count on that is scarily bad. Like, to be honest, I'm scared about the numbers that Call of Duty Ghosts put out in terms of its player count because they were terrible. And then you look at Advanced Warfare, by the very nature that has exosuits, and it's a lot different than any other Call of Duty game. By that nature, people are either going to love it or they're going to hate it. And the people that probably didn't like the system, they went back to Black Ops 2 because for whatever reason, people didn't seem to like Call of Duty Ghosts. I feel so the reason why so many people are back playing Black Ops 2 and why they continue to put out great numbers is because they like that style of game more than the style that Infinity Ward or Sledgehammer put out. So when Treyarch releases their new game, I feel as though they're going to move on to that new game. Now, I definitely don't think Black Ops 3 is going to have a flop because the majority, not all of course, but the majority of the feedback for Black Ops 3's beta was it was an amazing game. People were sad to see it go. For me personally, I freaking loved it. One of the best Call of Duty games ever. Oh, it's so good. I had so much fun playing the Black Ops 3 beta, so I definitely think the numbers on Black Ops 2 are definitely going to start dwindling once Black Ops 3 makes its full release, but never say never when it comes to Black Ops 2 or some of those older Call of Duty games because they will continue to have a player base for years and years and years and years. You go on Call of Duty 4, there's still maybe almost 1,000 people playing that game, maybe 1,000 people playing it if you're on the console. And so you have no trouble, finding a match of Search and Destroy, Ground War, Team Deathmatch, Domination, or anything like that. Like, there's still a pretty active player base on that game that's almost 10 years old. So Black Ops 2, if you're worried about like the player base of Black Ops 2 dwindling down to the point where it's kind of like unplayable, that's not going to happen for a very, very, very long time. So again, looking back to Call of Duty 4, looking back to World at War, you can definitely still play those games. Well, you can still play Team Deathmatch on World at War. There's not really a lot of people playing other ones, but in terms of Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, there's still definitely a lot of people playing those games. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, as I was watching the latest Dear Nero, I saw a recommended video of yours. It was titled Rest in Peace PlayStation 3/Xbox 360. I remember you saying that these servers were going to be shut down in that video. If this happens, how do you think that would affect the Call of Duty community, as there would only be 3 Call of Duties on next gen? If this is the case, do you think Call of Duty developers would take the time to release a more popular Call of Duty game on the next-gen consoles? Sincerely, Oscar, originally from Arizona and still in Arizona. So Oscar, I do remember that video, and I actually made like kind of like a correction video, I suppose, to that, or maybe a slight update video to that, I suppose. At the time, there was a lot of news going around that the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 were going to be shutting down their online servers within the coming years, like within 2 years tops is when they were going to do that. But since then, both Sony and Microsoft have come out and they said, yeah, we're going to support these consoles until, people, don't want to be playing them, I suppose. So basically, when they stop making a bunch of money off the consoles is when they're probably going to shut down. And right now, there's no shortage of people still playing on the 360 and still playing on the PS3. So both consoles are going to be good for a number of years. But there is going to be a time in the future, we don't know when, where those consoles are going to be completely irrelevant. You know, similar to the PlayStation 2, similar to the original Xbox, eventually they're going to be shutting down a lot of the online services for that. Eventually they're going to be obsolete. But right now that's not the case because, of course, console transitions definitely take a number of years. Now, that would be interesting. How would that affect the Call of Duty community? So if they were to shut down Xbox Live and the PlayStation Network for the 360 and the PS3, that would be interesting. It would definitely be sad. And that's kind of really the whole topic of that video that I put out was like, play these older games while you can, man. I mean, if you loved Call of Duty 4, you loved Modern Warfare 2, you loved Black Ops, you loved Black Ops 2. I mean, enjoy it while you can because these consoles aren't going to be around forever. And that still remains true. And I do think that Call of Duty developers are going to take the time to release some of the more popular Call of Duty games on next-gen systems. Again, I do feel as though that remakes in the Call of Duty franchise are inevitable. They are going to happen. We just don't know when. But it would be weird. Like, let's say, for example, like right now, like today, they shut down the 360, they shut down the PS3. Besides, like, all the rioting and picketing that would happen, it would be freaking weird. Like, it would make it so you could only play Call of Duty Ghost or Advanced Warfare on the systems, right? Those would be the only two Call of Duty games that would be available to play anymore because they would shut down the services for those. Unless you play on PC, because PC has, like, peer-to-peer, like, server-based hosting. And because of that, I mean, on PC, I suppose you never can truly kill a game because there are services out there where even if a game's like had its online servers shut down, you can like do peer-to-peer hosting, kind of like LAN systems in a way, with people from all around the world and whatnot. So it still would be possible to play some of these games on the PC, I suppose, but it would be crazy if they were to just like shut it down, like shut down the 360, shut down the PS3, and just make so all those older Call of Duty games were just completely obsolete. You could not play them online anymore. That'd be sad because there's some real good gems out there, which is why, again, I feel as though that the idea of remakes in the Call of Duty franchise are inevitable because there are such great gems out there. Like, I can't picture a world where we're not going to see Crash again. You know, Crash from Call of Duty 4. I can't see a world where we're not going to be seeing some of the amazing maps that we saw in Modern Warfare 2 and the original Black Ops, some of the amazing guns and the score streaks and the kill streaks. Like, there's a lot of gems out there in the Call of Duty franchise, and I definitely think that we're going to be seeing them again here on next-gen, otherwise known as current-gen systems. Next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, and keep in mind, this is actually going to be two questions. He submitted two questions. I thought they were both good, so I decided to feature both of them, and I just combined them into one question. He's going to write, Dear Nero, are you playing fantasy football this year? And if so, what is your team name, and who did you pick in the draft? Also, do you think it would be smart if Treyarch were to release a non-specialist game mode for Black Ops 3? Michael from the Music City. Michael, you are becoming the new Riley from Canada. Riley from Canada was a legend here on Dear Nero. It seemed like every single week he was featured, and it got to the point where he's kind of like a mini legend in the comment section. I think Michael from the Music City is getting there because he's featured almost every single week because he sends in such amazing questions. First things first, the fantasy football question. Yes, I have a team. I have actually been doing fantasy football in the exact same league since 2007. Here is my team, the Pittsfield Panthers. And you may be wondering, where did that name come from? Well, my elementary school, which is no longer a thing, sadly, was in Pittsfield. It was in Pittsfield, Pennsylvania, and we were the Pittsfield Panthers. Now, sadly, when I was in the fourth grade, I think was the last year that Pittsfield existed. It was basically a smaller school out in the country, and they did this thing where a lot of schools were doing it. Actually, I'm sure this actually affected some of you, where they take a bunch of smaller schools from like around like a big area, and then they basically shut down all the smaller schools, and they basically shove all the kids into these mega schools. And that's what ended up happening. Like, we all ended up going to a new school for 5th grade going onward, right? And so they shut down Pittsfield. It sat there actually empty for a long time. Like, they were going to try to sell the building or something like that. I don't know what they were doing. And then eventually I learned that the SWAT team ended up using my old elementary school, which just kills me, man, because like this is my childhood, my elementary school, you know. It turns out like the SWAT team would like practice in there, so they blew holes in all the walls, and they busted down every door in there. They didn't heat the place, like all the floors got warped and horrible. And finally, after like 10 years, somebody finally bought the place, and he's turning it into a go-kart track. And oh my god, it just pains me. But yes, the Pittsfield Panthers, that's like the story behind my name. I actually have my own little logo here that I had a graphics designer actually put together for me, so I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's the name of my team, and this is actually going to be my team, and I'm going to be listing off the players here for you. Now keep in mind, some of these picks were a joke, but overall I feel as though the team itself was pretty solid. I ended up keeping Marshawn Lynch. He was like my keeper from last year. I ended up getting Des Bryant in the first round, Tony Romo in the second round, and then the rest of the players, I got Jeremy Maclin for the Chiefs, which I think is a pretty decent pick. Alfred Morris, he's not exceptional by any stretch of the imagination, but he is a very consistent running back, and I actually get him in most of my leagues just because nobody seems to ever want to take him, and I'm like, I'll take him. He's like one of the most consistent guys in the league. Like, he'll never like have a super exceptional game, but he's pretty solid every single week. That's why I like Alfred Morris. Jordan Cameron, because he played for the Browns last year, and he was a pretty good tight end. He ended up going over there to Miami, where he's going to definitely have a better quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, and therefore might actually have a way better season. Larry Fitzgerald, I got him as a steal. I feel as though there he still has some gas left in the tank, and hopefully he can pull out some good things for me this year. And this is a PPR league, so hopefully he can get a number of receptions this year with the help of Carson Palmer. That would definitely be pretty nice. I got Jay Cutler as a backup. I thought that was pretty good. I actually took him relatively early because I wanted to have a pretty good backup quarterback. And Jay Cutler, while I did lose Brandon Marshall, I still think that Jay Cutler can be a pretty solid backup quarterback, especially like Tony Romo, who can sometimes be inconsistent. But I'm still happy with the Tony Romo pick because, you know, I do have Des Bryant, and I think that synergy there is going to be pretty nice. Philip Dorsett, in case he wants to have an amazing rookie season playing with Andrew Luck, who is one of, if not the best quarterback in the league right now. I drafted Trent Richardson as a joke. Keep in mind, he ended up actually getting cut by the Oakland Raiders. Like, it was kind of a joke, like, at our fantasy draft, because we all go to Buffalo Wild Wings up in Erie, Pennsylvania, and we have a bunch of people from like my town and the surrounding area that is a part of my league, as well as we have people from Ohio that drive like 3 hours to come to our fantasy draft, and we all hang out there at Buffalo Wild Wings and eat food and have our draft and stuff like that, and it was pretty fun. But the whole time, like, anyone would ever say anything, like they were like they were taking a long time for their pick, I'd be like, Trent Richardson, like trying to like tell them who to pick, and it was just kind of like a running joke, I suppose. I actually drafted Trent Richardson, who of course was actually cut by the Oakland Raiders, and now is seeing some controversy because Ryan Clark called him out as possibly the worst running back of all time. Antonio Gates, he's a freaking monster. Everyone says, oh no, he's too old, he's over the hill now. Last year he had almost 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns. Like, he's so freaking good. I remember last year I got him as a steal as well. He's going to be a fantastic backup tight end, and who knows, maybe he'll even be better than Jordan Cameron this year. Aaron Dobson, this is just a kind of a filler wide receiver. He could be decent, could be terrible, who knows. Duke Johnson Jr., that was kind of a gamble, I suppose, because right now people are talking about him possibly being the #1 candidate for running backs in Cleveland. I'm like, why need a backup anyway? We'll take a gamble on that. Bryce Brown, which I think is actually a pretty good choice, especially considering, I mean, while they do have a bunch of running backs up there in Buffalo, they did actually get rid of Fred Jackson, so Bryce Brown's value definitely went up a little bit there, and who knows, he could be pretty good, could be terrible, you never really know. Hakeem Nicks, kind of one. He definitely had a couple sparks of light, you know, back when he played for the Giants, and maybe he can replicate that with Marcus Mariota down there in Tennessee. And Johnny Manziel was my final pick of the draft. He was actually the next to last pick in the draft. So the way it goes, you know, if you go first in the first round, you go last in the second round, you know, it kind of goes back and forth that way. So I was second in the first round, so I had the second to last pick overall in the draft, and I took Johnny Manziel as a joke because he was another one of those players where like, Johnny Manziel, whenever somebody didn't know what to choose. Steven Aushka for the Seahawks, because I get him every single year. He's a very solid kicker. Houston's defense, it was sad because I was going to get defense that round, and somebody ended up taking Seattle ahead of me, and so I ended up getting Houston right after that, and I took Cleveland's defense, which, believe it or not, just because they're my favorite team, like they're my backup defense, but at the same time, Cleveland's defense is actually pretty decent. So that was the draft, and I did make some changes via free agency. Not really too many changes. I ended up picking Roy Halou Jr. because they ended up getting rid of Trent Richardson, so I dropped Trent for him. I ended up getting Marcus Colston because for whatever reason, nobody took Marcus Colston. I'm really not sure why. He's still a pretty good receiver. And so, yeah, those are really the only changes I ended up making to my team. But that is my fantasy football team this year. For those of you guys that are interested, I feel as though I probably went way too long with that, but I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that also are interested in American football, and maybe you enjoyed talking about that a little bit. And now that that's over with, let's go to the next part of the question where he wants to know, do I think it would be smart for Treyarch to release a non-specialist game mode in Black Ops 3? I think it would be smart, but it would be a lot like the classic playlist in Advanced Warfare in that there would only be a small minority of people actually playing there. So obviously it's good for the consumer. It's like, yeah, give us a bunch of options. That's great. But from the perspective of Treyarch, do they want to allocate the resources and the man hour and stuff like that to actually making that playlist a thing? We'll have to see if they're going to do that from a consumer perspective. Yeah, sure, totally. Give us that. For me personally, I like specialists. I mean, I wouldn't be playing in the non-specialist game mode the same way I don't play in the non-exosuit playlist in Advanced Warfare, but there's going to be people out there that don't like specialists, but they still like Call of Duty and they like Black Ops 3, but and they might want to have that playlist available to them. So yeah, give it to them. If I were Treyarch, I would definitely do that. I don't think it would cost them really that much to be able to run the servers for that, and it would make a small number of people. Let's be honest, it's a small number of people, but it would still make people happy nonetheless. And at the end of the day, that's what you want, is happy customers if you are a business. The next questions are actually going to be from the same person, Cooper in North Carolina, and similar to the last question that we had from Michael in Music City, I'm basically going to take these two questions that he wrote me and kind of combine them into one question and try and answer them back to back. So he's going to rate, Dear Nero, I used the fast fire attachment in the Black Ops 3 beta. I honestly felt like it did nothing. What is your opinion on that attachment? Also, would you like to see the firing range from Advanced Warfare come to Black Ops 3? Because I felt as though it was a huge help to test guns between games. Keep up the great work. Again, Cooper from North Carolina. So the first part of the question, Cooper, the fast fire attachment. It's definitely an interesting attachment. It's essentially rapid fire on guns that you wouldn't think would have rapid fire. So, for example, the KRM-262, the pump action shotgun, you could get like this fast fire attachment, which was kind of like double tap, I suppose, for a shotgun, which is like, what? This is a pump action shotgun that's like going to have a faster fire rate, and you're not going to have to like lose anything as a result of it as well. Like back in the day, you would put double tap on your pump action shotgun or something like that, which would, increase your fire rate. But if you want to do that, you'd have to make a choice. Like, do you not want to have stopping power? Do you not want to have juggernaut? Like, you'd have to have a thing there. You have to give up something for it. Whereas in Black Ops 3, it's like, oh, it's just an attachment that would make it so my fire rate on my pump action shotgun's better. There's an attachment that makes it so my bullet action sniper rifle just shoots faster. Like, this is amazing. But in testing, I'm going to be testing this a bit more because I do have footage of me shooting the gun with both fast fire as well as without fast fire on the KRM shotgun. And I'm going to compare them side to side. I haven't done that yet. But again, from my experience, the same as yours, I felt as though the fast fire attachment, like especially on the KRM, didn't really do much. Like, I didn't notice it being exceptionally faster. I'm sure it was faster, but probably very, very minimally so. Like, it did not seem to really affect the gun too much. But again, I'm going to be testing that a little bit more with some of the footage that I have when I actually do my spotlight video of the KRM-262 shotgun. But yeah, I agree with you. It definitely felt pretty underwhelming as compared to what we thought it would be, whereas we all thought it would be like rapid fire on a wide variety of weapons. The second part of the question, do I want the firing range from Advanced Warfare to make its way into Black Ops 3? Yeah, definitely. You say it's a huge help to test guns between games. I think it's something to do between games. That's why I like the most about it, how it would go in there and I'd be able to test around some guns, or if I'm doing like an advanced supply drop opening video and I get like a brand new weapon variant and I want to test it out, I go in there, I test out the fire rate, I test out the sights on it and stuff like that. It's cool. I like it, and I would like for the firing range to actually make a return in Black Ops 3. It's one of those things that, yeah, make it in every Call of Duty. Like, how hard could it be to put in every single game and actually benefits a lot of people greatly? You make a brand new class, you want to test out a weapon, you want to do whatever, having that firing range there is definitely pretty nice. It almost reminds me of like the Borderlands firing range, like the Borderlands 2 firing range that was in Sanctuary. Like, whenever you get like a brand new weapon, you go down there to the firing range and test out your damage on the thing, right? And you can kind of do like the same idea in Advanced Warfare with their firing range. It's a good system. I hope it's in Black Ops 3. We didn't see hide nor hair of it in the beta, but who knows? It was a beta, definitely not the final product. The next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, are you planning on making some sort of series or just videos of Black Ops 3 zombies? Ryan from Maine. And Ryan, yes, definitely I will be making videos of Black Ops 3 zombies. I plan on doing a lot of them. Like, if you guys remember, I made a lot of videos of Black Ops 2 zombies because I like had a legitimate passion for Black Ops 2 zombies because it was like the first Call of Duty game that I really got into zombies mode. I really wanted to improve as a player. I really wanted to get to some of these higher rounds. I really wanted to learn as much as I could about the zombies mode in that game. And I'm hoping, because they plan on like expanding upon the Black Ops 2 zombie system in Black Ops 3, make it even better, adding game progression system and stuff. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And of course, we have the Doris remake. It's going to be cool. So I want to make guides, right? If you guys actually check it out, if you're interested in this kind of a thing, look up my Black Ops 2 Die Rise guide. I want to make videos similar to that because I worked really hard on it. I got to like round 70 something on Die Rise. I made like a full detailed video showing you exactly how I did it, where to go, like starting out on round 1, this is what you want to do, these are the zombies you want to kill, this is how many points you should have by the end of this round, this is the door you should open, this is the weapon you should grab, like detail of everything I did to actually get up to that high round, and it was just a really cool guide. So if I could recommend anything for you guys, open up a new tab, go to YouTube, just type in NerosCinema Die Rise guide or something like that, and just check out that guide after this video is over or something like that, and just see, that's the kind of video I would like to make for Black Ops 3 Zombies. I want to make guides that way. At the same time, I want to make like kind of like field guides like I used to back in the day. Like I want to like take a weapon in zombies, right? Like say, for example, just got off the top of my head, the RPD. For whatever reason, the RPD LMG makes its way into Black Ops 3 Zombies. I want to make a guide of that. Like, okay, so this is how powerful the thing is, not Pack-a-Punch, right? This is how powerful it is up until these rounds. Like, this is usually a gun that you're going to want to get at between this round, this round. At this round, it kind of becomes pretty unviable. It starts getting a little bit weaker. So this is where you want to Pack-a-Punch it. These are the attachments you can get when you Pack-a-Punch it. This is how powerful and viable it is when you Pack-a-Punch it up until this round. Like, I want to make these kinds of guides. Right, these are the videos I would like to make for Black Ops 3 Zombies. And of course, I have a bunch of other ideas as well, but those are just a couple of examples, like guides and stuff like that. And of course, live Let's Plays and stuff like that, like my Road to Round 20 that I did on Nuketown Zombies when I was first learning how to really play zombies in the Call of Duty franchise. And I was trying to get to round 20 on Nuketown Zombies solo, which is actually kind of hard. I picked definitely a pretty hard map to try and solo, but yeah, I mean, I think that would be fun. By no means do I want to be like the world's best zombie player where I'm going to be like getting like breaking records or anything like that, but I want to make fun, entertaining, informative videos for Black Ops 3 Zombies. And that's what I'm excited for about Black Ops 3. So the multiplayer is going to be great, the campaign's going to be great, then Zombies is like going to be a whole other game entirely. It's just going to be amazing. I'm definitely looking forward to that. The next questions are going to be similar to Cooper from North Carolina and Michael from Music City. These questions are going to come from Jacob and Travis in Ohio, and it's going to be basically 2 questions I'm going to combine into one, then answer back to back. The first part of the question, they're going to write, Dear Nero, will you post Star Wars Battlefront videos when the game is released? Also, do you think it was the right decision to release the Black Ops 3 beta to PC since everything and its brother it was being leaked? And again, Jacob and Travis from Ohio. First part of the question, yes, I will be posting Star Wars Battlefront videos, or at least impressions videos here on the channel. Maybe I'll do some stuff with it on Nero's Let's Plays as well. We'll have to see about that, but I'm definitely interested in the game. It seems like it's going to be like kind of like the new Titanfall in a way, whereas it's going to be an FPS game, which we all know and love, but at the same time, it's going to be a lot different. There's going to be lasers, there's going to be Star Wars things going on, there's going to be things flying around, and it looks interesting, right? It definitely looks like it would be fun. Who knows? It might be amazing, it might be terrible, but we will have to see. It definitely looks like it is going to be pretty cool, though. The second part of the question, do I think it was right for them to release the beta on PC since everything is actually being leaked? It was the right decision, I suppose, to release it on PC because they want to get people playing Call of Duty on the PC again. Call of Duty on PC has been a running joke for a number of years now. People that play PC don't play Call of Duty for the most part, right? Obviously, there's some of you guys out there that play COD on PC, but the majority of people that like to play, competitive shooters on PC, they're out there playing Counter-Strike, right? They're playing Team Fortress. They're playing a bunch of these other games. They're not playing Call of Duty because generally they port over Call of Duties from the console to the PC. They're usually terrible ports. The game usually doesn't run that well. The community on PC is just horribly small, so it's like, there's not a lot going for the PC versions of Call of Duty, and they want to change that with Black Ops 3. They said they wanted to change that. They wanted to make it so it's very good on PC. They're trying to make it like that, so they put the beta out there on PC so PC players can actually go ahead and play it, and a lot of PC players are actually really seeming to enjoy the game, which is a pretty good thing. It is sad. The unfortunate side effect, I suppose, of that is whenever something comes out on PC, it can be data mined. I don't know how it works. I don't claim to know how that works, but these people can find anything. Like if a game gets updated, they can look in that update and they can see a bunch of hidden stuff in that update, and like, oh, this is like going to be stuff that's going to be happening in the future. Like we see it in Advanced Warfare here. Like we see leaked images of guns, we see leaked camos that came out on the PC well before they were actually released ever or even announced. Like they can find all these hidden files and stuff like that on the game itself. So I don't know how they'd possibly be able to avoid that. Sure, stuff got leaked, but I don't think it's really the worst thing in the world, to be honest. I think it would just be better if we were able to have a bigger player base on the PC as a whole, because more people playing Call of Duty is good for Call of Duty, therefore good for us. The next question he's going to rate, Dear Nero, ever since I downloaded Atlas Gorge for Advanced Warfare, I haven't been able to find any matches. I've searched for about an hour straight and I've only found 3 lobbies. Atlas Gorge is my only DLC and I don't know how to get rid of it so I can find matches again. I've tried deleting my game, but it didn't do anything. Any advice? Thanks in advance, Jackson from Canada. Jackson, I'm actually kind of a mini expert in this because I did something very recently. The problem you're having is you have one piece of DLC, and what map DLC has always done in video games, and it's a pretty bad thing, but it's also a pretty catch-22 that you kind of can't change, is that whenever you have map packs added to a video game, it splits up the player base. So Jackson from Canada here, you are in this group of Advanced Warfare players that only have Atlas Gorge and nothing else, and those are the only people you're ever going to face. You're only going to go against people that have Atlas Gorge and nothing else, right? That's how that works. If you're like me and you have every single piece of DLC, including Atlas Gorge, I'm only going to be put up and matched up with other people that also have every single piece of DLC along with Atlas Gorge, right? Maybe you're somebody that randomly only has the second map pack and you don't have any other piece of DLC, then you're only going to be facing people that only have the second map pack and no other piece of DLC. So it definitely it splits up the community into these very distinct lines, right? So you're never going to be matched up with any of these other people. And of course, if you're like in a party, so for example, if you get partied up with people that have all different kinds of DLC, it basically goes off of who has the least amount. So let's say there's a party of 6, and 5 of us have every single piece of DLC all together, but there's one person that has no DLC at all, then we're going to be matched up with the people that don't have any DLC at all because our 6th member can't get into our lobbies, right? That's how that works. And so definitely it divides up the community, and the problem with that is if the player base is small and the community that's already small is being split up, it can make matchmaking kind of a pain, i.e. Titanfall. Oh my goodness, Titanfall, who they had all these map packs that came out, right? And the player base for Titanfall was pretty small, so it was really hard to find a match in that game because people had varying different kinds of DLC and there was already not a lot of people playing the game, so it was very hard to find a match. So eventually Titanfall, on the 1-year anniversary, they're like, here, have all the DLC for free because this community split is actually becoming a giant problem. I've had the same problem kind of happen in Advanced Warfare, whereas it's very hard to find multiple lobbies. So for example, let's say I get into a bad lobby for one reason or another. Maybe my teammates are terrible, maybe there's a big party on the other team that's just running through people. In a game of Ground War, for example, there's a party of 9 that's just running through my team. My teammates are terrible and I can't do anything as a result of it. I back out, naturally. I want to find another lobby. I still want to play Ground War. It's my favorite game mode, so I search up for Ground War again. It's just going to keep throwing me into that same lobby because the player base is so split up. So actually what I went ahead and did was I deleted all the DLC off of Advanced Warfare. The DLC that matters anyway, like the map DLC. Cosmetic DLC doesn't matter. That's not going to split the community at all. But I deleted like all the map packs from the game itself, and my matchmaking has actually been a lot better because there's a lot more people that have no DLC as compared to people that have all of the DLC, right? There's definitely a bigger group of people that are in that boat. How you delete it is from the Xbox One anyway. You basically go to Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and you basically can open it up from there. You can go into your hard drive, and then from there you can actually go ahead and look at all the things that you actually have installed on your hard drive, and then you basically scroll over to all the different DLCs and click uninstall. It's very, very simple. I'm sure there's something similar that you can do on the PlayStation, but if you're confused as to how to do that, I'm sure there's plenty of guides online. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic, the idea of lobbies being kind of split and the player base actually being split up based upon map packs, which is kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if you want to have map DLC, and that's like something that's going to be happening, but you don't want to split up the community, you end up having the problem that World at War had, right? How many of you guys have played World at War recently, where all the DLC is still in the map rotation, even if you don't have it, and therefore it just kicks you out of half the lobbies you try to join. Like, you'll join a game of domination, right, in World at War, for example, and one of the maps that's available, like in the map rotation to choose from and to vote on, is a DLC map that you don't have. And it's like, oh, well, I hope no one votes for that, because if that map gets picked, I have to back out of the lobby because it's going to kick me from the lobby because I don't have that map. Whereas in more recent games, it's not even an issue. It won't even show up in the rotation if you don't have that particular piece of DLC. So definitely an interesting little topic there. And the next and final question they are going to write, Dear Nero, what are your opinions on clans, such as Optic and FaZe, and have you ever wanted to be in one? You're awesome, the Quiet Potato from Canada. So, Mr. or Mrs. Quiet Potato, I can't quite decipher your gender based upon the name The Quiet Potato, but I feel as though clans are great. I think they're a pretty cool thing. And the reason why I think they're cool is because it can start off as something so small as just a group of people all playing together and just a group of friends, and then it can grow, and it can grow and grow and grow and grow. And it's kind of insane how far more it can grow. So it starts off as just like a group of people that like to play together, right? As I'm sure a lot of us have our own little circle of friends that we like to play together. Then maybe it goes up to the next step where all of you guys kind of want to have matching gamer tags or names or whatever, you know? Like, for example, my friends and I, we were part of Strictly Business, Team SB, that we put together. We're like, yeah, we'll make a clan, it'll be cool, and we'll have similar names like SB Nero, SB Deadly, SB Marksman, SB Voodoo, SB Cypher, all these people that were in SB, right? Which sadly none of them play anymore. Besides Cypher plays. I was playing with him during the Black Ops 3 beta. That was definitely pretty fun. I'm actually trying to convince him to play Heroes of the Storm with me now because it's a really fun game, actually. I'm really enjoying Heroes of the Storm. I'm actually starting to understand it a little bit. I'm definitely enjoying playing around with that game. But yeah, you can start like with just like a group of friends and you all start having similar names. And from there, you can go into like a competitive team. Maybe you want to start like a GB team or something like that. And you guys all have like a similar name so it looks more official. Then maybe you can grow into like a full-blown organization like Optic or FaZe or Envy or any of the competitive teams out there. Any like the YouTube teams out there that you see, like Carnage or so some of the other pub stomping clans and stuff like that. Like, I think teams are a cool thing. They add this sense of community to a game where it's not really community based, I suppose. Like Call of Duty as a whole isn't super community based. Like, it's mainly you can play solo, you can play with a party, but by no means is it like a super community game. Like most of the lobbies you get into, I mean, people don't even have their mics in. It's like a super community thing. Whereas if you join a clan or a team or a guild or whatever it is you want to call it, you're playing with a group of like-minded individuals that all maybe have the same goal as you. Maybe that goal is like, you know, do well every single game, which is what Team SB was. Our goal was to basically just do well and have fun and, you know, run through lobbies and get lots of kills and just enjoy each other's company and have some fun playing video games. That's what Team SB was about. The group that I started was, you know, basically about just having fun. Whereas other groups of people, maybe they feel a little bit differently. Maybe you're part of a sniper team and you guys just like to snipe and have fun together. Maybe you're part of a sniper team that also has a YouTube channel and you like to try and make team dodges together or something like that. Maybe you're part of a team that likes to play competitive Call of Duty and you want to have like a, you know, high GB rank or something like that, or an MLG rank, I think it's called now. I haven't been on that website in ages. But and you guys play competitive Call of Duty or you play League play together or whatever it is. Like, it's definitely a cool thing. It's the same reason why people, even as adults, they join clubs, they join organizations and stuff, because they want to be part of this group of like-minded individuals that all kind of work towards common goals together. And whatever that goal may be, it changes depending on who you are. So I think clans are definitely an awesome thing. They're definitely pretty cool. Where my plans on Optic and FaZe specifically, I think they're awesome. Like, Optic was like the thing back in the day, man. The Optic sniping team was amazing. Then FaZe kind of, I think they rose to glory during Modern Warfare 2 or so, and of course they have blown up into this like this multifaceted organization as well. Like, I think it's awesome. I definitely wish those guys all the best. And yeah, overall my opinions of clans is they're definitely a pretty cool thing. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this week's episode of Dear Nero. I'm totally losing my voice here. I can feel it going, but then again, it's not that bad. You know, I definitely lost my voice worse than this. Like, I feel like I lost a lot of power in my voice right now, whereas there's other times where I'm barely able to talk after like a long day of recording and stuff like that, because I tend to speak a lot faster just naturally than a lot of people. So like, you know, me recording like a 30-minute video is definitely seems to be a little bit more taxing as compared to somebody else that maybe speaks a little bit slower, because I'm just like constantly going whenever I say anything. It appears when I make videos, which is weird because I don't usually talk this fast in real life. I don't know what it is, but whenever I'm making a video, it's like I have so much stuff I want to cram into a video that, like, I don't know, I feel so you get a lot of content like out of a video from NerosCinema as compared to maybe some other videos, all really depending on how you look at it. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys all found it helpful and informative. If you guys would like to go ahead and submit your questions for next week's episode of Dear Nero, feel free to do so. All you really need to do is go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/NerosCinema, go to the About tab, and from there you will find a Send Message button. Click there to send your message. Be sure to start your message with Dear Nero. That way, while I'm scrolling through all my questions for next week's episode, I can easily find the messages that were specifically sent for that week's Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Remember to leave a rating. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.